Okay, we are live for show number 88. I have Renikia here with me. Adrian should be en route this particular week, February 7th. Still in the beginning, people are pursuing or accomplishing some of their goals that they set forth of the new year, if that's your thing. With that being said, how's it going from Atlanta?
Atlanta was almost 80 degrees today, so it was a good day, good energy.
Oh yeah. Same here. It's almost 80 degrees.
Oh yeah.
But gonna be about probably not approaching 50 tomorrow. That's the crazy weather.
Yeah, same here. Yeah.
Popping.
I know that was too good to be true.
Yeah. I've been popping hogs all day. So, so y'all know if Adrian's not here, so you're gonna have to rely on me to to ask the question. So you know how that may go. So I'm gonna do my best. But we're here to try to improve your financial situation through the vehicle of real estate investing, mainly wholesaling, where that will allow you to do deals without using your cash or credit. Whether you have a 450 credit score, 850, or $100 in the bank, or 10 million in the bank, you can put deals together with techniques and knowledge, not per se your credit or cash, but we also have those options also, which my friend here, Renikia, is an expert on. So, Renikia, if you want to share who you are, I have a couple of things I need to do here. You take the floor.
Absolutely. Hello. You guys, I am Renikia Williams, the CEO and founder of Fortune Key Financials, and the symbol RAW, which is everything real estate and wealth. And our focus is to help individuals understand how to take what they have to go out there and really begin to build generational wealth. Generational wealth can be built by anybody. It doesn't matter if you have, just like Todd just said, you have $100 or $100 million, you can begin to position yourself to build generational wealth and leave your family something other than debt to bury you. I mean, it's time to change some things around. So one of the things I realize is that it takes money to make money. You know, we talk about no money down real estate, which is absolutely real and a real way to make real money in real estate. But there's so many different broad avenues in real estate, and you want to begin to find your way through. And if you need money for resources as far as marketing, which is a huge piece of real estate is marketing, then you need additional OPM, is what we call the other people money. Take risks with other people money. So one of the services that I have is a gap funding service, which will help you find the money by leveraging your credit to receive a certain amount of money so you can begin to go out there and invest in your building your real estate portfolio.
Okay, so we have a few people already here on YouTube, and what I'll do is I'll start off. Let me see what we got here with a first question from Stephen Decody. It says, when doing a lease option with a seller, can you use the same contract with your tenant buyer?
Yeah, so basically what you're trying to do is assign your lease option contract to your tenant. Make sure that your lease option is assignable. And if it is assignable, if you have a blank template, you are able to use that purchase and sales contract or lease option contract.
Okay. All right. See what else we got here. Someone Bandit Signs ebook pack special. Yes, I do. You can hear me, Renika?
Yeah, you was kind of breaking in and out for a second.
Okay, so I got a message saying my internet was cracking. But Marco asked, do you still have the Bandit Sign and ebook pack special? Yes. You can go to startersigns.com. That's startersigns.com to access that option. Startersigns.com. All right. Seeley Fitness and Nutrition from YouTube says, or asked the question, hey, I have a buyer and my only options are to deal with a real estate agent. How can I get proof of funds? Well, I use a service that I use and I refer people to, and I'm an affiliate of, is you can go to realpof.com and just follow the instructions on the site. That's realpof.com. But to answer your question, let me go back to this, but beyond the proof of funds, hey, I have a buyer and my only options are to deal with a real estate agent. Seeley Fitness and Nutrition, if you could be a little bit more clear when you say your only options, well, what are you saying there?
Are you saying that the seller is being represented by a real estate agent?
I guess that's what I would ask too. Is that are they being represented by? Well, they only referenced a buyer in this situation. It says, I'll read it again. Hey, I have a buyer and my only options are to deal with a real estate agent. So I'm not sure what she means there. So we'll move on. All right. Delonda Lewis says, is there any way to wholesale a deal with a reverse mortgage?
I mean, you can sell a deal with any mortgage. The mortgage have to be paid off upon the sale. So, so as long as your purchase price is greater than the mortgage that is owed, you can make money. But if your purchase price is less than what is owed, then you won't be able to pay off that mortgage. So you have to pay off every mortgage when you sell that property, unless you deed in the property over quick deed, which is a different scenario. But a true sale will have to pay off that lien.
Okay. All righty. What else we got here? Neely Lee. Well, they didn't ask a question. Contract. All right. Lawan from YouTube says, do sellers usually ask for proof of funds? In my experience, a motivated seller normally doesn't ask for that, right? Occasionally, but normally it just doesn't work that way. Not that you're taking advantage of them, the situation just don't dictate that they're asking for proof of funds. Now, when you're dealing with a real estate agent, that's standard practice. Be surprised if they don't ask for one. But just dealing with just a regular blow Joe, no. Your thoughts?
I totally agree. Most sellers don't, especially dealing with a homeowner. They don't really know the ins and outs of selling the property. So a lot of times you may be the one that leading that sale. But most, like you say, most realtors, there's normal practice for them to want to see proof of funds.
Okay. All right. Let me see here. All right. Somebody said we got on matching colors. Okay.
That wasn't planned.
Yeah, we didn't plan it. Let me see here. Okay. All right. Well, Seeley asked again, I guess this is a follow-up to our question from before. No, I have a cash buyer, but there are no properties in the area they're looking besides they're looking in, I guess only real estate agents have the properties. No, Seeley, you're not marketing. You're not generating leads, baby. It's just, we would love for side the opportunity. It doesn't work like that. It's not going to be visible to you in most cases. And you can drive for dollars or whatever. You may can see some opportunities, and that is an option. But at the end of the day, you're going to have to market to absentee owners, landlords. You're going to have to market yourself. That's why Renika and I, and we talk about it every week, generating leads. Yeah, we would love to be able to just pull that apple from the tree, but it's not that easy like that.
Right. Yeah. So you definitely got to find your own properties to sell to your investors. That's really how you create your spread.
Yeah, she doesn't see anything but what real estate agents have. That's no different than here or in Atlanta. If that's
everyone
the only thing
sees
you're
that
gonna limit.
Competition is higher.
Yeah, everyone sees
dealing with what's on the market, because everyone sees what's on the market, what's on MLS. How we able to stand out is that, what we call them are off-market properties. So you want to go out there and generate your leads, exactly what we're stating. A lot of times we talk about lead generating strategies such as Bandit Signs, buying absentee lists, driving for dollars, skip tracing, things of that nature is how you generate your own leads so you can find your own properties, which is called off-market properties, which is properties that's not on the market, is where you're really going to create your most opportunity, is going out there and soliciting and finding your own leads.
That's it. It's the name of the game. It just boils down to generating leads. There's no magic wand that I'm waving. There's no magic wand that Renika is waving. If we don't do an effective job of marketing and letting people know we exist, we won't do deals. It's really just that simple. So let me see what the next one is here. All right. Some Trip J21 says, this is for Renika. It is safe to assume that if my credit is in the toilet, I wouldn't get assistance with funding for marketing. No.
That's definitely safe to say. However, credit can be restored, repaired, and turned around in a matter of a couple months. So regardless of where your credit is, there's no need to stand on bad credit for the rest of your life. It could take 3 to 6 months to fix it. And it doesn't mean that you're behind the ball or anything. You can go out and solicit and find another credit partner. Since you know the business, you find someone who can bring the credit to the table so you can use their credit until yours gets to where it needs to be. But all credit can be repaired. Totally. Everything can be repaired. So please don't sit there and sit on bad credit. If it takes you 6 months to restore your credit, it takes you 6 months. And once it's restored, you leverage your credit, you get the money you need, and you go out there and start building. But don't let credit stop you, because it can be restored and repaired.
Boom. Okay. I'm coming in now. Okay, someone asked a question. I think I answered this the other day, but that's fine. We'll ask because it's a good question. Can you wholesale? It's Anderson Cotton. Can you wholesale a home owned by the city?
So you're saying like tax deeds?
Well, sometimes a city will take a property back, and that's going to vary from market to market, depending on the laws and what possession a city can take on. Sometimes, I know here in Birmingham, the city owns some properties, right?
Yeah.
Now, how they acquire them, I'm not sure. So we're just going to assume they own them. So from my experience, I tried, it was an apartment building that they owned. And I tried to find out how to buy it. And I just got whooped, just even getting to the point of trying to figure out who to even talk to or whatever. But that's just Birmingham, Alabama. It may be a lot easier in some other markets. But I knew some guys that ended up with the property. They say, man, we had to get attorneys involved and all that, man. They just don't make it easy. And it's just sitting there just going to waste. I know they want the tax revenue off of it or whatever, but that's politics. You start to get into people, they pay regardless of what happens. You know what I'm saying? So they're not going to be as eager to help you if it's a real estate agent or investor, because we only get paid when we get results. where they're going to get paid whether results happen or not.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So I don't know. Have you ever tried to do that or anything?
No, I absolutely agree with you. The city do own a lot of properties, and they do take a lot of properties back. I think what you said was absolutely right. You have to go out and find who actually can sell you the property within the city, and jumping through those loops, trying to do business with the city is one of the hardest things to do. And on top of that, a lot of times the city only want to do business with big pocketed people who can come in and not just buy one single family home, but they can come in and buy a whole block and come in and buy a whole, 100 property portfolio and things of that nature. A lot of times those are the people that they really want to sit down with and do business with. So it's just the same. I mean, if they're willing to sell it to you, most likely you would need to double close it or something of that nature. But if you find them and they're willing to sell it to you and put it on the contract, just make sure that contract that is written up, that is assignable, that you can sign it to a third party. But I would definitely say you're gonna have to jump through some loops to work with the city of that nature, unless you bind tax liens and tax deeds, which are sold on the courthouse step, mostly monthly. Really depending on your city and your state, though.
Okay.
Not necessarily wholesale tax liens until after the redemption period.
Okay. Rashawn Adams, how do I find out if a property has liens on it? I have Digulator and it says the property doesn't, but the owner says it has a next $19,000 tax lien. Now, the information and Digulator, aka PropStream, is going to be as accurate as how they make it available to the public or whatever. So just keep that in mind. So if the owner said they have a tax lien on it, they probably have a tax lien on it. So that's going to just come out in the title work. Whenever you pour a title on it, so that you have to take in consideration when you're negotiating the price that tax amount is included in the price. So we'll just say the ARV is $150,000. And the seller would let you have it for $50,000, which will make a deal depending on the repairs. That means instead of them getting $50,000, they're going to get $31,000. Because that 19 has to come out of that 50. Now, occasionally you will have sellers that say, "Well, I'll sell it to you for $50,000," but what they really mean, they'll sell it to you for $69,000.
Right. They need you to pay for the rent.
Most people know that whatever they owe comes out of the price that they're getting you, but sometimes it's not that clear with some people.
Right. So. And just to add to that, as long as you're not quick claiming the deed in your name, it should all come out at the closing table, because an attorney has to clear the title before they could pretty much complete the transaction or the closing. So they have to give you clear title. If not, you'll also get title insurance. If there's a lien on it that's in your name, it could be taken care of from your title insurance. But most important, like Todd said, if we get to the closing table and we find out there is a $20,000 lien on there, you go back to the seller and say, "Hey, you have a lien on your property. This is not that shouldn't be your problem." It could be if you're making a lump sum of money, you can afford to take care of it. And sometimes you have to kind of negotiate between the seller and the buyer and say, "Hey, there's a $20,000 lien on here. I'll take care of 10 if you take care of the other 10, and have the seller and the buyer take care of half of it." But you have to negotiate who's going to take care of that lien prior to really closing the transaction. And sometimes you have to get creative. If you have a lump sum of money that you're making, and the only way that you're going to close this property if you take care of that lien, then you may want to put up some money to take care of part of that lien. So be creative in how to handle that, but always go back to the original seller, because it's really their lien, and make them come up with as much money as they can come up with to take care of that lien.
Okay. That's a good question. They're all good questions, but can a seller sign a contract and sign another contract with somebody else the next day? Yeah, they can do it, but they're not supposed to.
Right.
No, that's not how it works. Yeah. Now, and I've had that to happen. If you do this long enough, a lot of this stuff is going to happen.
Absolutely.
Just people know they can't do that. But you go out, if you do this long enough, that's going to happen. right? And so, but ideally, they're not supposed to do it because the purpose of your agreement is to prevent someone else from buying the property.
Right. And if they do that, and you feel that they are doing it, you can go and court your contract onto that property's records. So when they go to close it, they're going to see that this seller actually has another contract with someone else which was signed prior to the current contract that is closing. So you can somewhat cloud the title. If you feel that that's going to happen, you can somewhat cloud the title by filing your contract onto the county records of that property.
Somebody said, "Where's the gator head?" It's over here. If Adrian comes,
the gator what? Oh, the gator.
The gator head. Yeah.
We haven't seen the gator lately. That's good.
All right, so somebody, yeah, I'll bring both of them out. Somebody asked how can they get in touch, which I'm about to put it up here on the screen. So, you'll see it on the screen. We're about 20 minutes into this particular video. So I'll put it up here on the screen, her contact information and everything right should be now.
So if you want to leverage your credit and leverage your credit to receive up to $150,000 unsecured credit, just go to fundmynextdeal.com and follow the instructions from there. And then my social media handles is on the side here. If you just want to send me have a quick question and you're looking to get a question answered, you can either email me or DM between Instagram and Facebook.
It's not. It's coming. Okay, there it is. Okay. All right. So the information on how to reach her, she has 3 different ways here. 4 different ways you can reach her. So, all right. Someone says, other than Mojo Dollar, what's a good auto dollar site? I've never used anything but Mojo. So Google is your friend. All right. Craig McDonald has a good question, which they're all good questions. Can you trust all buyers?
You can't trust nobody.
Let the money show you you could trust them.
You have no choice but to trust the transaction. That's why we put contracts and things in place to protect us in any way. But at the end of the day, anyone can do anything in these transactions. Investors are really not governed by any laws or anything. So, you just want to put your parameters in place and your contracts in place to save yourself, because people can do anything in this business.
Okay. People asking, I'm going to ask questions on Instagram. So yeah, I'm going to ask questions on there. So I just got my iPad out here so I can do it. My iPad is really not made for Instagram. That's the whole way I can sort of do it with the other deal or whatever. Anyway. All right. So what we got? Would you pay your time? Well, just another good question. Would you pay for title upfront to cut your wait time down for when you do find a buyer?
Now that's really a good question. I see it both ways. I would say this: if you are very confident in your deal closing and you find a end buyer, I've seen people do this. I've seen people go ahead and submit their contract to start the title work, because they're so confident in the project itself and they know it's going to sell. But if you're not confident, I wouldn't recommend for you to start that title work first. I wouldn't even recommend you to start title work until you really have an end buyer and a real end buyer, and a contract on the table and an end buyer ready to put up their earnest money. And then I would submit those 2 contracts to the attorney to start the title work. So I've seen it both ways, but I would recommend you wait until you have a real solid end buyer on the table.
All right. This is a good question from Instagram. Hello, Instagram.
Thank you.
How do you stay motivated to make cold calls? My lead source is probate wholesaling. Any suggestions?
That's a good question.
Oh, they smoking tonight, baby.
I know, right? Okay. You know, you gotta find motivation within yourself. You know, I know there have been years when I first started this business that I didn't make money. You know, so I had to get up every day with that fire in me, although money was not being made. So at the end of the day, you have to believe in your process enough that you continue to move forward, even sometimes when you're not seeing results. So one thing about it, cold calling does work. Some people like it, some people don't. But I would recommend that there's a lot of different ways to market, and you do a combination of multiple marketing strategies and not just put all your eggs in one basket.
All right.
What do you think, Tyler?
Oh, perfect. Good question, good answer. All right. Here's another good question for you to answer. How can I do a subject to? Which subject to, if you don't know, it means subject to existing financing, meaning that you will be deeded the property over, but the existing financing will remain in the quote unquote previous owners on their credit. The credit still will be in their name. The loan will still remain on their name, but they've deeded the property over to you. So you have the floor.
I think you just explained it. I think you just explained it. That's exactly what it is. I mean, that's how you do it. You just assuming someone notes a monthly payment, but it stays in their name. The key is that you want to make sure they're making this monthly payment, or if they can show you how to make this monthly payment every month. But the key is to make sure they are making these monthly payments, because I have seen people who have got themselves into a situation like this, and the homeowner wasn't making the monthly payments, and therefore the property got foreclosed on and everybody lost. So
no, you don't want to do that. What you want to do
that. I've seen that. Trust me, it's crooks out here.
Yeah, what you want to do is that you want to be added to their mortgage account, right? Which they can do that. They can give you permission with written notification. I forget what the form is called because I haven't done or even attempted to do one of those in years. And you can act on their behalf as far as just getting information. You can't make any decisions or anything, but you can get information. Ideally, what you want to do, if they that money order or check or cashier's check is going to be made out to the lender. They won't have an option but to send it to them. You know, that's the only way you want. That's the only way you want to do that.
I like that.
If they want you to put it in their hand, then yeah, I'll do it. But you know, that payment is, you know, even if it was a situation where, and normally they so motivated, they do that, they motivated, you know what, if they're gonna do a subject to, so they're really gonna do whatever you want them to do in reality. That's just normal how it works. So, but even if it was a situation where they say, can I at least get $100, you know, over the mortgage? Okay, but so I'm gonna do two different payments. I'm gonna do one for the mortgage and one for the.
I like that.
Payment for the mortgage is going to be in the mortgage company's name, you know. So, you know, it doesn't need to be in their name if it's going to the mortgage company, and the mortgage company don't care whose name is on it as far as who's making the payment, as long as it's clear.
Right.
They're not in the real estate business as far as buying and selling. They do it out of need. They're in the business of collecting as much interest as possible, you know. Right. So they don't care who's making the payment. Now, with that being said, with a subject to, all mortgage agreements, whenever you're sitting down and you're closing on the property, there's going to be a due on sale clause within that agreement. And what that means is if the mortgage company has the right to call the entire loan due if the deed changes ownership, it transfers. They have the right to do that. Now, in most cases, they won't do it because, again, they're not in the business of really taking properties back. Foreclosures happen out of last resort. You know what I'm saying? Because they're in the business of collecting interest. And they loan you a principal amount. They want this amount in interest. You know, that's how they make their money or whatever. So, but they do have the right to call that loan, entire loan due, if the deed or title transfers, which means somebody deeds it over to someone else or whatever. So just keep in mind, that's one of the pitfalls. I don't know where you're getting your information from, but just be aware of that also on subject twos.
Absolutely. And also make sure you get a copy of the payoff letter to make sure your numbers make sense.
Make sure they're current or whatever situation is, it needs to be. If they're behind, you need to know what it is so it can be caught up, because the worst thing you want to happen is that you get into the next 3 or 4 months behind. So that's part of you getting the authorization on the account, so you can be aware of the totality of the situation where the payments are current, the payoff balance, as Renika said, or if they're behind and what it takes to catch it up. So you need to be aware of all of that. Anything else to add on that subject too?
That's good. That's good.
Let me see here. Somebody said that's Ty would say, get outside your comfort zone. Oh yeah, you gotta do that.
Must.
I struggle with that myself. Let me see here. If you can't hold that top, somebody over there, somebody else's question. Okay. Get into contract means finance. They ain't talking to each other here. They don't need us, Ridiculous. Being prepared. First contract. They didn't answer any question for each other. So what do you have on? Okay, here we go. This is good. All right. So what to do if it's multiple sellers on the deed, over 10 people?
Oh, wow. I mean, it's only one thing to do. Every person on the deed must sign off on the closing paperwork. So everyone has to sign off on it to close it.
Now that's going to be hopefully. Whew, what's the most you've had to sign off?
Right now I'm dealing with a deal. There's about 5 people.
Okay.
On this deal, and to get everyone on the same page is probably one of the hardest things.
The most I had was 3.
3
people to sign off. Yeah, I haven't done anything beyond that. Really.
Right.
So what we got here? Let me see. All right. All right. So, like I said, they didn't answering questions for each other. How do you feel about it? Well, we got the standard question of the week. You know what? On the pre-foreclosure question, we get that every week. You can just go back and watch last week's and the week before. Flippinar, we get that question every week. And to add to that, I know people hear the word foreclosure and they just think it's like they're the only one that knows about it or whatever. Right. Especially like foreclosures, which you may be, well, no, not really. It could be done, but it's just more difficult. It could be done, but again, just go back and watch any of the last 2 or 3 Flippinars, and we not putting you off, but that's just a question that let me see here. Let me see what we got on Instagram. Well, they actually said, okay, so someone on Instagram says, I'm 21 years old, wanting to get in real estate. Where should I start? And how much money does it take to start?
That's a good question. That's a really good question. I think there's I know here in Atlanta, there's a huge group of young real estate investors here. And, I think some of the best times to start this game is at that age. Why? Because you have less responsibilities. You have a lot more opportunity to take a lot more risk at that age. And at the same time, you put 5-10 years in it, but before you're 30 years old, you have 10 years in this game. So to me, that's one of the best times to start in this industry. But in a lot of times at that age, your credit is still pretty good. You haven't really used your credit. You may not have a lot of credit, but you at least have enough credit to go out there and leverage your credit to get $10, $15, $20,000 or so you can invest into your business. So I would first start with leveraging your credit or finding a way to take the money that you have to begin to learn the wholesale game. I would strictly focus on the wholesale and not necessarily do a fix and flip just yet. Just focus on wholesale, and there's no money down. It's less money out of your pocket. It is pretty much less risk to make, but it's a greater reward. And you can really learn the fix and flip game by default by really taking advantage of the wholesale game. So I will first start with wholesaling, learning as much as you know about wholesaling, begin to implement all these strategies we talk about on a weekly basis, and then leverage your credit for 10, 15, 20,000 or so you can invest into your marketing and then build yourself up from there.
Boom. Okay. Well, Adrian's made it here, so we'll get to give her a second to get going here, but I'll ask the next question. Tommy Wynn says, how can I sign up for your mentor program, Ty? I guess he's talking to me. Just go to flipman.net, scroll down to the bottom of the page, you'll see a button that says, yes, I'm ready for one-on-one coaching. Green button, boom, or you can text or call me, 205-492-3425. 205-492-3425. All right. Gwendolyn Jones says, when do you do a title search and at what point in the process? I think we sort of just answered that, but you can go ahead and elaborate on it again.
Personally, I wouldn't start the title work until I have a full transaction, a full AB contract and BC contract. So basically your contract with the original homeowner and your contract that is assigned to your end buyer. Once I got both of these contracts and that end buyer is ready to submit his earnest money or her earnest money, and then I would forward those two contracts to the closing attorney. And then they will start on the title. Title could take anywhere from 3 to 5 days. You can still close in a week or whatever the case may be. But I wouldn't start until I have a full AB and BC contract.
Okay. Somebody call me Uncle Flip.
Not
that insinuates elderly. Wow.
It could have been Grandpa Flip.
Not it could have been Granddad.
Wow. Well, just about young man, Mr. Young Flip, man. I like that better. That was from Bejar Razul, I guess is how you pronounce that. He said, as a beginner, where should I start? I guess we sort of just answered that. I got a perspective adjustment after calling title companies today. I got a perspective adjustment after calling title companies today. I'm not sure what he means by adjustment.
So basically his perspective was adjusted. So what is the results of you calling the title company?
Yeah, you'll need to let us know that. What were your results of you calling the title companies? Shut it down and log back on. Yeah, shut it down. All right. When dealing with a vacant or delinquent property, I keep running into issues where the seller doesn't know what they owe. Is it worth trying to figure that out? Yes.
Yes, absolutely. I mean, it'll be a seller not knowing what they owe could be true. If you're dealing with a lender, just ask them to get a payoff letter.
Yeah, see, if it's a situation where they think they got liens out there, or if it's a mortgage, they know they owe a mortgage. Now, if they don't know what they owe on a mortgage, you know,
Right.
we're assuming they're making a payment. So you got a 800 number on there that you could call
Right.
that. You know, what do I owe or whatever. So if it's a mortgage, now if it's some liens out there, medical bills or what they call a mechanics lien or tax lien, something like that, you can still get balances on that. Then sometimes you may have a lien out there or a judgment against a property or you that they may not be aware about, but that's where the title company comes in.
And
you know, going back to that,
at the tax records.
Yeah.
Tax, you can find the delinquent taxes on the property tax records.
Yeah, the other thing, going back to when that's when Adrian came and started distracting me. But the question about the title, the title and whether you pay for it first. Now, after you do enough deals with a particular title company, they'll do it. They'll just run them for you. You know what I'm saying? If you got business coming in there consistently, they'll just run it for you. You don't want to wear that out because sometimes you can run 3 or 4 in a row and all of them bad. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
And so you don't want to wear out your welcome. But ideally, like Renikia said, you really just want to wait until you get a buyer because they might not want to use them. You know, so it can be.
That's true. A lot of times when, you know, if I really want to control the deal and really want to use my attorney, I would just tell them that, hey, title's already started. We're ready to go. We're ready to close. And incentivize them that I would take care of part of their, you know, attorney fees or something of that nature. If you really want to control it, because sometimes when you're in buyer controller with their attorney, it could blow up your whole deal. So just keep that in mind.
First of all, hey y'all. Second of all, you see how quick he just threw me under the bus? Wow.
That's a little shade.
You saw the palm tree, right? Call it palm tree flip. Okay. Stay ready, Johnson. What about a partition sale when there's multiple sellers? What's that?
You heard that?
Partition sale when there's multiple sellers?
Mm-hmm.
I don't understand.
I don't understand that either.
Okay, stay ready. Clear that up for us. Let's see here. Dark Clowns wants to know, what is the best way to scrub your mailing list? Should I mail to my entire list, or how do you scrub it? Pick and choose who you gonna send to?
Well, first it depends on how you built the list. What type of list is it? Is it an absentee list? Service that you're using, did it allow you to identify a certain amount of equity, whether it was free and clear, are they auction properties, are they all out of town owners? So first it depends on what type of list that you build, and then we can give you an idea what to scrub out. Your thoughts?
I would have said the same thing. Yeah.
Okay. Somebody wants to know on Instagram what a reverse mortgage is, and can you wholesale a reverse mortgage property?
We already answered that.
You answered that already?
We already
Excuse me.
Somebody double dipping. You ain't smart.
Oh, they ain't smart. Did you do that one? Pretty South.
What?
Pretty South.
They said, what did you say?
I have a deal in a different state. How do I find a buyer in the state without being backdoored?
Yeah, the buyer. They have a deal in a different state.
Right.
Oh, you got to have somebody on the ground. That's the purpose. If you're going to virtual wholesale, you got to have somebody on the ground representing you, whether it's a friend, a friend, a family member, another wholesaler, or real estate agent. That's something.
Yeah, that's it.
Okay, if you live in a tax deed state, would you still consider going after tax delinquent properties? What's a tax deed state?
I don't know. What is it, Nick? I know what it is, but them tax laws get tricky from state to state. You know,
they do. It is different from state to state. From my understanding, tax deed is that some states allow you to, instead of getting the lien, you are buying the deed. So with I know in Georgia we buy lien, and that lien has to stay there for a year or so before we can foreclose on it, or whatever the case may be. There are some states that is not necessarily a lien, you're buying the actual deed. and you don't have a redemption period. So I think tax lien and tax deeds are a great way to diversify your portfolio. Tax deeds allow you to, where you don't necessarily have a redemption period, you own it right out as soon as you purchase it.
One of the best ways to get a good understanding of how your laws work in your state is go down to the county courthouse and catch the right person. Or if you catch the wrong person, they're just not going to spend the time with you to break it down. But catch the right person. Normally, the people that sit behind those desks that collect the tax, see in Alabama, it's called, you have the tax collector side of it, and you have the tax assessor. And the tax assessor also, they've explained it to me a couple of times, but I guess I ain't that smart because I ain't got it. But they have broken it down to me how, the process worked to actually get ownership and what phase. See, in Alabama, you have the owner has a 3-year right of redemption.
3 year, exactly.
3 year, yeah.
Which no one really buys in there because 3 years is a long time.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of states have like a 1 year lockup.
Mm-hmm. So the way I would look at those also, if you're not interested in acquiring the properties, you just want to make money off of them, look at tax liens as an opportunity as someone that may be motivated to sell. If they're not paying the taxes on the property, not always, they may have some financial issues and that property is just not worth them paying taxes on it or whatever. Sometimes people just don't pay on, they pay because it ain't no big deal or whatever, you'll have that. But I would look at it also as a great opportunity because even if you got like companies come in Alabama and they'll buy the tax certificate, however it goes, don't quote me on this, because you can get the seller, if they're going to redeem it, they have to pay like, I think it's 12% or whatever, plus the amount of the payout. So they look at it as they getting 12% on their money, right? That's good.
Right.
That's excellent.
Right.
So even if someone has done that, they still technically own it. So it may be a situation where it may be $150,000 property and the back taxes with everything is $700-800 or whatever, but they don't want it. So you tell them you'll give them $25,000 for it or whatever. So they pay the $700-800 off and they get the difference between the 25 and the $700-800 and boom. So you can look at it in that way. Now, if you're looking into acquiring the property because you're trying to build a portfolio, as Renikia said, then you need to really understand your tax laws because they're going to be opportunities. No question about that. You just have to be on it.
Absolutely.
Okay. Anthony Adams says, hello, I put out a few Bandit signs and I post Craigslist ads every morning. I put out signs back in November, no leads, with some response to Craigslist, but really just other wholesalers. And I found one buyer. Is other wholesalers as they do me and see if they have any properties to JV. I'm trying to get my first deal and transportation and income is an issue. And this is from Augusta, Georgia.
I mean, absolutely. Well, partner with other wholesalers. I mean, to me, that's a way to find properties without you really having to go out there and do your due diligence of finding those properties. So, it's a numbers game. I don't care where the properties come from. If I get 10, 15, 20 properties a month, then, there's an opportunity there. So definitely partner with other wholesalers. When other wholesalers give you a call, let them know exactly what you're doing. So, and ask them to add you to their buyers list. So you're able to take their properties and wholesale their properties to your end buyers. And then y'all just kind of determine whether it's that wholesale fee in the middle.
Okay, Colchis folks from Facebook says, we have a seller. Oh, stop. Okay. We have a seller that does not want to put the property under contract. How do I go about it? You don't have a deal. Well,
you don't want to sell. He's not motivated. If you don't want to put it in a contract, then he's probably not motivated. You're probably not giving them, the offer that they really want. It has to be a reason. But if they don't want to put it on a contract, you can't make them.
Okay, there you have it. Let's go back to YouTube. Lena Tate has a question for you. She wants to know, where can I find cheap blank bandit signs? And also, what do you think about spray painting bandit signs with stencil?
Well, the company that I use, and I guess I recommend, is Dirt Cheap Signs. You can go to dirtcheapsigns.com to get their phone number. They give a small discount if you mention my name or whatever. So, but you want to call them to place your order. But if you're trying to do handwritten signs, you're talking about using a stencil. I personally wouldn't do that because it's too time consuming to do those. Just get the right type of markers. Normally your bold, what are they called? Sharpie markers. I like to do offsetting colors to try to get a little bit more attention by maybe having red and black, red and blue. If you can find the blue, which is normally hard to find that bold, you can find that on Amazon or something. But instead of a stencil, in my opinion, but it's very important if you're going to do them handwritten that you use the right
marker. Right.
Okay, Paul Jacob on YouTube. If you look at your screen right now, that bullet is for you. You wanted to know if he could email you a copy of the contract. As seen on your screen, text contract to 833-439-9632 to get a copy of that. Let's see here. Rashard Fountain, how does wholesaling a tax? I think we've gone over tax sales. He wants to know how wholesaling a tax sale property works. We just went over that quite a few times. Let's see here. I was calling title companies to ask if they handle assignment and double closing contracts. Instead, they didn't understand a word. My goal to find the right title company and then search for sellers.
I have a video on YouTube. It's titled Top 5 Mistakes Newbies Should Avoid When Starting to Wholesale. And that's one of the top 5. It's calling around the title companies. I guess you're looking for affirmation. Is that the right word? When you want someone to agree to what you're doing? And I'm your affirmation. Well, I'm just kidding. But anyway. Nah, you don't want to do that because you have to think about it. Okay, a lot of times they may actually do whole assignments every day. The person you got on the phone doesn't know that they do that.
Right.
The main reason though is that your buyer dictates that so much. The one with all the gold, not always, but most time makes the decisions. Buyer in place. Trust me, it's a lot different conversation if you call a title company and you have a deal ready to close versus you just calling, like you're a newbie. I'm sure it sounded that way to them. So, so don't worry about that part. Worry about the hard part. Trust me. Believe. If you don't believe nothing else I can tell you, if you got a great deal on the contract with a seller and you have a cash buyer ready to close on it, getting someone to close it is going to be very easy compared to others. Worry about the hard part, getting the deal, a great deal. I know you just
absolutely. It's very much legal to assign your contract. It says in the contract that your contract is assignable. So it's legal to sign your contract to another party. So, I agree with Todd. Just probably the person you had on the phone didn't understand, and you wasn't explaining it in the way that that they understand that you're professional at what you're doing. But honestly, it's all you did was assign your contract. So you call that title company. I rather use attorney, a real estate attorney, than a title company. But you call that company, you let them know that, hey, I got a property on the contract and I signed my contract to another party and I'm looking for a closing attorney. That's just not illegal at all. So.
All right. Richard Williams he said his first deal was set to close on Monday, but the buyer backed out today. Says family issue came up. Lawyer emailed HUD to me 15 minutes later. Can I proceed with previously interested buyers, desperado mode?
Yes.
Yes. And also get your earnest money.
That's right. Pick that bread up.
Yeah.
Hey, hopefully you can find a buyer that's going to pay even more.
Exactly. Right.
Yeah.
Okay. Let's see here. Be Water My Friend on YouTube has a good problem, it seems. Not particularly sure why we're asking, but what if the seller owns a home fully paid for and wants to sell at 145K with the ARV of 320? Any advice?
What are the repairs? Sounds good on the surface, but what are the repairs?
All right. Jamerson Franco, rewind about 5 minutes. We answered your question as regards to where you can get signs cheaper than $450 a sign.
Oh my God.
DirtCheapSigns.com. Most definitely a better deal than $4.50 a sign. That's robbery.
I'll sell them to you for $3.50 a sign.
Yeah.
175.
Renikia, well, I'm just now getting here, but I know you've been here for a while, but I want to make sure that you've had the opportunity to explain to them what services you can provide and stepping their wholesale game up. We have it on the screen. Just tell them a bit about yourself if they're new and what you can do.
Absolutely. So we did go over this, but I would love to plug it again. But if you absolutely want to learn how to leverage your credit and maximize, in my opinion, credit is a gateway to wealth. You got to understand the right way of utilizing our credit. It's okay to utilize your credit to invest in an asset or invest in yourself or invest in a business that's going to give you a return. So what we're going to do is show you how to leverage your credit to be able to receive up to $150,000 of unsecured credit. But of course, we have hard money as well, which a hard money lender gives you the money to purchase a property and the money to rehab, but they would never give you 100% of it. You have to come to the table with 10 to 20% down. So that's what we try to help you go out and find is that down payment. By leveraging your credit, you can find a down payment that is needed to go out there and do your fix and flips. If you want to get started with that, you can go to fundmynextdeal.com and follow the steps on the screen. My contact information is right here via Facebook, Instagram, or you can email me if you have any questions.
All right, there you have it. Available on all social media. Jot down her information right there. You can always come back and rewatch this. To answer your question, Alex B, yes, the contract can be used in Texas. Mr. Affirmation, can you confirm that?
See.
See.
I spoke in Texas language.
Not quite. Okay. Lucius White wants to know, is Facebook the new Craigslist?
Huh?
Oh, wow.
The new Craigslist.
Oh, yeah. Well, Facebook Marketplace has it's very powerful now.
It's amazing. Yes.
Yeah.
You have to utilize all of this free marketing. I mean, Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, Zillow, Craigslist now is charged, and I'm not for sure it used to be free, but utilize this free marketing. It's free.
Alex B responded to you in Texas Talk. He said, "Gracias, amigos."
Taco Bell.
Get off of my.
Hey, y'all didn't know how to speak that, did you?
No, you ain't speaking nothing but tacos.
Chalupa.
Hush. Okay.
We're gonna have to brush up on this Spanish.
Cinnamon crisp.
Thank you very much. Let's see here. Raheem from Philly has a question, and I'm gonna tag it into someone else's question. Someone else asked, would it be lucrative or beneficial for them to get their real estate license in wholesale? And Raheem wanted to know, I'm sorry, not Raheem. Mobley wanted to know, could he add a line to the contract saying that he was a realtor? So let's cover that.
What was the last question?
And when using the one-page contract, he wants to add a line that states that he's a realtor.
Oh, Oh,
Yeah,
okay.
he can do that. Yeah, of course.
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
Now, getting a real estate license, is it beneficial? Wholesaling.
Yeah, it could be a plus for sure. Just understand, long as you keep your investor hat on and just use the real estate license as a tool, I think you're good. What do you think, baby girl?
I totally agree. I mean, there's no difference from do you need a business degree to start a business? No, you don't need a business degree to run a business. But if you have a business degree, it could be an extra benefit to you running your business. It can give you, it can open up more doors. So I would say, no, you don't need it, but it's definitely an extra benefit. But you got to know how to play both of those games, because a real estate agent is governed by the real estate commissioner. And those laws are a little bit different, and you cannot play the same way that a real 100% investor play that do not have a license. You have to play a different game as you try to wholesale. So just understand, if you're going to bridge those two worlds, understand that there is a law and governance and regulations that surrounds if you do bridge those two worlds.
Good question here, I think. This Autry says, how do you feel about these businesses like WeBuyUglyHouses.com who are advertising on TV? Is it difficult to find deals with such great competition? Now, back maybe like...
They still do it.
No. I was going to say like 10 years ago, they were all over the place, and then they died down. But now they're back up because of one right there.
Yeah. When I first started, they had like, in Birmingham was a small market compared to a lot of these other markets. They had 3 franchisees at that time then, so like she said, it sort of died down, but they're back strong again from just let me just say my visual or whatever. So no one company, no one person can buy up all the real estate. It's just another, you got McDonald's, Burger King, Crystals, Hardee's, Carl Jr.'s. I think you get the point. But you'll still have your mom and pop in that same market, and they killing it. They doing just as good a sales as those operations in their franchises. So that's the best example I can give you. I'm sure you all have a burger joint that you go to that is basically a mom and pop compared to a McDonald's, Burger King, Wendy's, and those outfits. So it's the same thing.
And I totally agree. And I would add to that. It's really no difference from necessarily, I just lost a train of thought. I would add to that and to basically say that one of the reasons why we buy houses and we don't really deter away from, trying to just put any and everything. Some people can put, Sarah buy houses or something of that nature, and that puts you in your own category. But if I put out there, we buy houses, there's a lot of we buy houses signs. So it looks like you're part of this big group. So they cannot tell you any difference, can somewhat tell you any different from the big boys of We Buy Ugly Houses versus We Buy Houses. You look like you are part of a big group of investors. So, you utilize that and always put we, so it makes it seem like you are part of a bigger group than just yourself.
And I'm sure you've had people to call you before you talk to them, say, you would We Buy Ugly Houses? And I say, yes. Yes, I am.
So I'm telling you, I would definitely say I put We Buy Ugly Houses on my Instagram one time, and they flagged me, and they made Instagram take it down or whatever. They wouldn't release it. So they do have that tag. They do have a patent on that We Buy Houses, We Buy Ugly Houses. So be careful using that online, but out in your city, your local city, it is what it is.
Yeah, and I've wholesale properties to those guys here locally before, so that they don't care. You know what I'm saying? If a deal is a deal, they are really like, well, the guys here locally, they like really get below the numbers. You know what I'm saying? So I've had opportunities come because they turn them down or whatever. You know what I'm saying? So, but they do a lot of marketing. The money that they spend Oh my God, but I can't tell them they're making money. They've been around since '96. I think I seen an ad on Facebook today that I'll be copying today from them, which that's the first time I've seen it though. So, they got to pick it out on that part of it. Let me just say that.
Janelle Day wanted me to ask this question. How do I wholesale if the seller bought the property under a trust? How do I find out if there's other beneficiaries in the trust?
Should just have a trustee, right, Reniki?
Yeah, exactly. I mean, someone can sign a trustee. It'll be the one that sign off on that property. So yeah, you should have a trustee.
Michael Ilhart, or Ty, are you still affiliated with PropStream? I hopped on that discount you had a few months back. Thank you for that.
Yes, sir. I sure appreciate it.
Dealyoulater.com. That is DealYouLong. And these two questions together that somebody had from YouTube. Let me go back to it. Let's see here. Paul Jacob, and another one was basically about partnering with you, Ty. I have an epic commercial deal, busiest intersection in my town. Would you be interested in letting me pay you 50% at closing, and I'll do all the work on the deal if you just tell me what to do? The other one was pretty much the same and was help to find a buyer.
Yeah, just submit it to the site, iccre.com.
iccre.com.
Oh, that makes sense. It's the letter I, SEE, meaning I can see, then CRE for commercial real estate, iccre.com. So.
All right, there you have it. About Do You Later, and the owner information on some properties is different than the owner information on the city assessor's website. Which one is right?
So what?
Both.
What is it?
Do You Later and the city assessor's website has two different information.
As far as what?
Owner information.
Well, depending on the county, on information brokers like the Do You Later, aka PropStream, they can only be as accurate as how they make it available to information brokers. So, like she said, just use both. So
yeah. Process elimination.
Yeah.
Jody, I see you. You're using your wife's phone. I see you. You want to know. Well, he put me that because he don't want me to say Susan. He wanted to make sure that I said Jody.
Okay.
Oh.
There you go.
So I just answered your question in regards to the joint venture, and your question. You said your questions weren't getting through. Let me see here. I'm not seeing it. You asked about is there a way to determine whether the title is clear without an attorney company or a title company getting involved? If that was the case, everybody would use that, right?
Yeah, I don't recommend that because at the end of the day, a buyer is going to want title insurance, and you ain't intended to produce that. So you can do your own research, but at the end of the day, they ain't gonna mean nothing. You know what I'm saying? Because the buyer's still going to want to go through those channels through a reputable company that does it on a day-to-day basis because they want title insurance. If you don't understand what title insurance is, basically saying title company puts the title and they're saying, hey, yeah, it's clear. If it ain't clear, then the title insurance is supposed to allow them to redeem from the transaction. So that's my understanding of it. Renee, is that it?
No, that's it.
Okay. What is the cheapest way to get a vacant property list and city code violation list?
Go to the city. They should just print it off for you. All cities are not built equally as far as the government employees, but normally that's just a list that you're supposed to be able to get your hands on. It's supposed to be public information. Again, that's going to vary from city to city. So.
Jeremy McPherson, just answering you on the side. Sounds like you got it. It sounds like you got it. Let's see here. What if the seller says a price works from the first? Should you still try to talk them down or just run with it?
If the seller agreed to a price?
Yeah, if the initial price works, should you still try to talk them down some more?
Absolutely. You know, and that depends, you know, it depends. You gotta know who you're dealing with, because sometimes there's no room for a talk down and they want what they want, you know, but if there's room for a little talk down, if I can get it cheaper, I want it cheaper. Point blank, period. You know, so. Absolutely.
Yeah, you just gotta sort of know who you can push.
Exactly.
It's no formula that we can write up for you. That's just gonna be something that's gonna come with time and just dealing with people. You can't push everybody. You know what I'm saying? I've lost deals like that before, so you learn from that. You know, the numbers already work, right? Pigs get fed, hogs get slaughtered. You know? But
and it also depends on your competition. If I know that this seller or this market has a lot of competition, then if I want to get ahead of the game, then I'm giving what he's asking for, just to try to get ahead of the game and control.
One of the best deals that I've ever done before, the dude, you know, I didn't know he had already called somebody. I could have figured that, but when I went out and looked at it, and he told me the guy what he was going to pay for it already came out there once he brought that up. And I said, why you didn't do it? He said, well, I really wanted like 10,000 more. You know, 20,000 more would have been still a deal. I like, if we can sign a contract right now, I'd do that 10,000 more. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Yeah, I was all over that. I said, the other guy did not do the deal. I'll tell you how much. I made 40 grand on that deal. That's how much room was it. That's how much room was it. You know,
right? I give you 10. And sometimes you want to go above. I give you 10. I give you 10 above your asking price.
Yeah, man. The other dude didn't do it. He wanted it at 90, and I paid. I did it at 100, and wholesaled it at 140. And the dude that rehabbed it sold it for 325. Now he had to probably put 100 in it, but you know, you get the point.
Right. Yeah. Solid.
All right, there. B Water, my friend, had to deal with the 320 and 145 that we was talking about. She said the repairs are, she said 35 to 45, more so 35. We're going to say 45. So ARV is 320. The home is fully paid. Seller wants 145 with 45 in repairs. So that's 190.
You said the home is fully what?
It's fully paid for, but the seller wants 145.
So I'll be surprised if all you have to do is put $10,000 in there to get 3 something.
No, they said 45.
Why would they leave so much money?
45.
No, it was 45 in repairs.
Oh, 45 repairs. Okay. Yeah. So it's 145,000 plus 45 repairs.
So 190. So I'm at 227.5 with the 70% on 325. So yeah, that's the deal. Yeah.
All right. Sounds like you got you a deal, B Water. What's the bed? We've already done that. Keep Love. I have a 3-bedroom. I have 3 1-bedroom apartments almost remodeled by the owner. Oh, Ty would like to send you a video for you to give me your opinion. So what's your email address?
He said he has on the contract.
He wants your opinion on it, a video. So
No, I don't really do that. You throw out some numbers in the comment section, I'll do that, but I can't put myself out there to start evaluating. You know,
that's right.
We'll
do it.
No.
Any of the numbers make sense to me.
Yeah, just send you post numbers in the comment section. So I get to them, but sending over videos for me to evaluate. No. We don't open up that RC can of worms.
Wow. Okay. Do you think the market will ever get oversaturated?
As far as what?
Wholesaling.
Oh, it means wholesaling. Well, guys, I'm all about trying to be as transparent as I possibly can be when I talk about stuff. In reality, I don't care what business it is, everybody ain't gonna be successful, right? So for it to get oversaturated, you know, it's just not possible. It's just not. Now you're in a small town, you know, it is what it is, but you're talking cities the size of Atlanta, even Birmingham, Alabama, it just ain't possible. Just not. Most people, even if they start out wholesaling, I'll tell you, move on. Yeah, you know, it's so much about timing. You know, I may reach out to a seller today, and Renika reach out, and they don't want to do anything at the price I want. And Renika reach out to them in March, you know, and they ready to do something, cause something that's happening in their life now that they need to sell it at a price that they can get rid of it quick. So that's why it's just so important to be consistent with your marketing or whatever, and the numbers will just take over. So don't worry about it being saturated or whatever, man.
No.
Everybody ain't gonna succeed because everybody not gonna do what it takes or whatever. Then at the end of the day, just, you know, where this business may not be for you, you may kill it in something else. You know, that's one of the great things about, you know, this land of ours that we roam.
And I also think that that there's always real estate for sale. It's just a matter of and there's always money to purchase it. So I think there will always be a area for this wholesaling game, or an area for fix and flip, because real estate is a demand. We all need it. We all need a house. We all need a roof over our head. Real estate is such a demand forever that it's just one of them things that would just never go out of style, or it would never be not enough. Only thing, I wouldn't think that, you know, inventory may slow down, or the prices may go up. So you may have to put more money up, but it won't never be a place where you can't make money in this game.
And a lot of times people call me and ask me, well, you think it'll work in Phoenix, Arizona? And I'm sort of being sarcastic. Well, I'm very sarcastic. I might say, are houses free there? Obviously, they'll start laughing. I'm like, well, then, yeah. Do people die in Phoenix? Do they get divorced? Do they lose jobs or income? Relocate, tired landlords, medical bills, kids going off to college? We know all those problems. I don't care where you are. Those turn into motivated sellers. Your job is to make sure you're doing an effective job of letting them know you exist, marketing, generating leads. So.
All right. Shaq Smith from Westside Detroit. Where have you been, man? I ain't seen you in a couple of weeks. You think I didn't notice? I noticed. Got it. Nadia wants to know, if you're doing a double closing, do you have to indicate on the contract with the end buyer your fee or how much you're making off of the deal?
That's the purpose of the double closing.
That's the purpose of the double closing, right? It's to disguise your fee. So on the HUD, it looks just like if you was purchasing it. On the HUD, on one of the HUDs, your AB contract, it looks like you're purchasing it. On your BC HUD, it looks like you're selling it. So no one really see what that in-between fee is. So that's the full purpose of why we double close.
All right. Benjamin Banks says, I've been wanting to do this forever. Thanks for going live, y'all. It gives us newbies confidence. I'm just now finding out about this wholesale thing. I'm really excited about getting started. And for the rest of you guys that are like Benjamin Bank, we are here every Thursday at 7 p.m. Eastern, 6 p.m. Central Time.
Tell them about the alert.
And if you want to receive an alert that lets you know when we're going live, you can subscribe on YouTube, or either
Go ahead, though.
Or either send a text message to 1833. I can't remember the number.
833-439-9632. Text the word Flippinar. You will receive a response back that says yes. To reply yes, and you're in. So I sent out the text message a while ago. Don't seem like it worked. We ain't got no more people than we had last. I got to check that out.
Okay.
So
or you can also subscribe on YouTube. You don't just hit the like button. You have to go in and tell it that you want to receive. Subscribe on YouTube, tap the notifications bell, and there's a third step. In most cases, you have to select all so you can receive all notifications when we go live and when we upload new videos. So that's going to end this week.
Adrian don't know when to end it.
I'm ending it, but I was gonna say next week, Valentine's Day.
Yeah.
Valentine's next week. What's
Yeah,
going
we
on?
won't be here next week. We won't be here next week.
What you got?
Okay.
We won't be here.
Oh, she called you out like that, huh? You ain't got no. Okay.
Yeah.
It's no day.
Well, let me put it like this. As of right now, probably won't be here next week. So, but that can change. That can change.
Okay. Nice.
So let's, Okay.
All right, guys. You'll get an alert if we are on. But without further ado, we will see you on the flip side.
On the 21st.
On the week after Valentine's Day.
21st. Yeah.
All right.
So we're out.
See you later.